Hello everyone, and welcome to the Sam and Ryan channel. My name is Sam, and it is just me today because guess what? I finally saw the Mean Girls movie musical, and Ryan hasn't, so he's not joining us for this conversation. Ever since this Mean Girls movie musical, Mean Girls, the musical, the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Ever since that has come out, our DMs and our comments have been flooded with people saying, "What'd you guys think of it? Do you agree with what people are saying on TikTok? Like, where do you guys land in your opinion of this movie?" Well, now that I've finally seen it, I'm here to be another talking head on the internet. I want to preface this by saying I had a day recently where I was very hungover, okay? I'll admit it. All I wanted to do was sit in a dark, comfy room. I headed to my local movie theater and I was just like, what's out right now that I could see that just feels like a nice, easy watch? And for me, that was Mean Girls. I've never seen the Broadway show. I've heard bits and pieces of the music. I've seen bits and pieces of bootlegs. And it was not necessarily my cup of tea. I don't really feel like it was my show, which is fine. Art is subjective. There's an audience for everything. And so when this movie adaptation of the staged production that's based off of the movie, it's still silly to me. When that was announced, I was like, okay, sure, maybe this will be the medium that I see this in. But I wasn't like chomping at the bit to go see it. So yes, I have finally seen it. And I can definitely say that the Mean Girls, the musical movie, is not nearly as bad as you bitches made it out to be. I am so sorry. I had fun, okay? Like, I genuinely enjoyed it, and I was shocked. Based off of all the discourse about this on the internet, I was like fully expecting it to be a hate watch. And honestly, I kind of wanted it to be, okay? But no, it had the audacity to actually be good and a fun, easy viewing time. I have a bone to pick with so many of you on the internet about this. You guys were bashing the hell out of this movie. And yes, there were a couple of weird shots, okay? Yes, I'm talking about that line in Revenge Party where the camera, I don't understand it either.
We'll get our party now. A candy cane, please.
But come on, guys. I am just shocked. I felt like I saw so many people on the internet, so many musical theater fans of the Broadway show bashing this. And like, I'm sorry. From what I've seen of the Broadway show, tonally, this movie felt like the same thing. So like, do with that information what you will, but they felt like they definitely existed in the same world to me in terms of like quality and like caliber and all that. I mean, okay, let me say, that is not a comment on any of the performers of the Broadway musical. Obviously, nothing is perfect. So with the Mean Girls, the movie, the music, whatever, with the movie, I'm just gonna say that. With the movie, there were so many performances that I thought were outstanding. Now, unfortunately, there were a couple of performances that I did find underwhelming. And I think sometimes when there's a performance that's like really underwhelming, it in a weird way can almost overshadow all of the really, really good performances just because it like sticks out a little bit more. So I'm not saying that like all the performers from the movie were direct comparisons to the Broadway performers. Like, Broadway is a full, like, different caliber. I am just gonna focus on the performances that I thought were outstanding because yes, there were a lot of them. I understand Miss Renee Rap is having her time to shine right now with Gen Z and all of the internet, and I love that for her. She's incredibly talented. This was her movie, in my opinion. I was eagerly sat, and I adored her performance. Vocally, it's unreal. Like, I'm kind of upset that this movie got bashed so much because I don't want it to deter people from watching her insane vocals in this movie musical. Like, come on. Daman and Janice, 10 out of 10. These folks right here, 10 out of 10. I found them hysterical. I thought their chemistry was great. They had me audibly laughing If you are shocked to hear me say any of these nice things about this movie, believe me, I am too. Like, I fully went in with low expectations. And just, again, with what everyone was saying on the internet, I was just kind of like, oh gosh, I'm like, let's see. I am so mad. There are so many great performances in this movie, so I'm here to defend them. These two, I mean, they were great choices to lead this movie as well. Like, I know I said it's Renee's movie, but I also feel like it's equally theirs. Also, I just keep saying they because I feel like they're such a dynamic duo in this movie. Oh, excuse me, I had pork dumplings and they are not agreeing with me. I didn't have to explain that. I could have just cut that out. But now I feel like I can't because I explained it. Anyway. I also really adored the plastics. Karen and Gretchen, I thought were really great choices. Karen was hysterical. Gretchen was hysterical. And Gretchen's little song in the closet, yeah, it was like a little like creepy, but it was also so indicative of that high school experience when like you just want the popular girl to love you and praise you and you're just so scared of doing anything wrong and you're comparing yourself to her constantly. Like, I loved that performance. The Halloween sexy number was obviously like a showstopper. Everyone in the theater was cracking up and I was too. I had no problem with the plastics. I will say I did miss the bit of the earworm from the Broadway show in the Meet the Plastics number. Cause then like the Karen and Gretchen harmonies all get intertwined and it's just like, it's so satisfying. I did miss that. There were some like musical arrangement things that I wasn't necessarily stoked on. And that brings me to the music. I really enjoyed Katie's acting. I know that I am not the only one to hold the opinion that I wasn't stoked on her voice, but I really enjoyed her acting. Like, I see why she was cast as Katie. The arrangements that they did to some of the songs, I was kind of like, okay, sure, give it a fun, fresh, new thing. I didn't love all of them, but again, I understand you're adapting it from the stage to a movie. Like, maybe you just want to give it something new. I was very open-minded to a lot of the choices they were making because, guys, like, we already have the Broadway cast recording. We already have the Broadway show. They didn't need to just drag and drop it because it already existed. So let them do new things, you know? Apparently Cameron Dallas really impacted the Mean Girls creative team. And by that, I mean, he really showed them that Aaron Samuels doesn't have to sing. Apparently. Mr. Summer I Turned Pretty Boy did not utter a single note this entire movie. Okay, fine, that's a princess track for sure for him. Like, he just, I mean, I thought he was like entertaining, like I thought he was a good actor, but he really just kind of had to sit there for most of it. A big critique that I saw of this movie was that like they tried to make it too Gen Z or something, and like, I'm sorry, but this is Gen Z's Mean Girls. Like, it felt that way to me. I'm Gen Z. I know I'm the older Gen Z, but still. I agree with the fact that like anytime social media is used in a movie or a show or something, like it feels icky, it feels cringy, it feels kind of like uncanny valley-y. But they did that at the musical as well, you know? So they were at least true to the source material in that way. I did cringe a little bit when they included all those TikTokers, and I'm so sorry. This is not meant to be shady at all because I think they're lovely girls, but I was really surprised to see the Merrill twins featured so much because I just like don't really see them on the internet a lot. So I was like, oh, I think in my brain, I would have expected more of like a Charlie D'Amelio or like Addison Rae or like Alex Earl, stuff like that. But it was just like the Merrill twins and Chris Olsen. And I was like, okay, sure, I guess. I totally understand though, like why they tried. Like social media is such a big part of our lives these days, especially school. So it does kind of feel like a given that anything set in a high school these days is gonna be flooded with references to TikTok, Instagram, whatever other social media platforms come out in the next 5 years. Again, I do just want to say that I found this movie genuinely funny. Like, there were so many moments that had me actually laughing out loud. And I feel like a lot of people forget that this is Tina Fey. Tina Fey is a great writer. Like, she knows what she's doing, all right? No. We're just gonna pretend that this light looks the same because my other light died. I'm sure, I know for a fact it's not the same color temperature or anything, but I can't, it looks good, right? I found the movie funny, blah, 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 blah. Going back to the audience's response to this movie, I saw a lot of people start an interesting conversation about content creators and content creators giving their opinions, reviews, etc., etc. I do just want to like play this clip of Tina Fey real quick because I think it's funny. And like, I get it. I get her frustration. There was definitely a bandwagon that happened on the internet of people just coming out to hate on this movie. I wish I took a screenshot of it because I thought it was like really well worded, but a creator named Tyler, who's like all in the theater world and all over TikTok, he does great videos impersonating like the senior theater kids that literally give me fight or flight. I'm gonna do my best to paraphrase this, but he essentially posted a warning to fellow content creators saying like, hey, you know it's a small world, right? It's so easy to jump on bandwagons and publicly hate on things, but keep in mind that you might be in rooms with these people one day. You know, you might be turned down gigs from this creative team because you were so flippantly hating on this thing for the sake of hating it. And I thought that was really good advice. Now, obviously, I think everyone has the right to share their opinion on a piece of work, especially if that is the category, niche, whatever their content is. Like right now, for example, the audience of Sam and Ryan wanted to hear what we have to say about this movie. And for a while, I actually was like, oh no, I'm like nervous too. I don't like, what if I see it and I think it's really bad? I don't want to share that opinion publicly. And guess what? If I thought this movie was genuinely horrible, silence your cell phones, please. If I thought this movie was genuinely horrible, I just wouldn't have made a video about it. It's kind of that easy. That is what I think I take away from this whole situation. Content creators are allowed to critique things if they want to, but I think it's important to do it in a way that protects your brand integrity, that, you know, if you want to do this as a career and have some longevity, doesn't tarnish future opportunities for you, and is generally uplifting. Like, I'm sorry, there is so much negative content out here. We don't need more critics. I think we need more fans. I think we need more fans sharing things authentically with their audience of fellow fans. That's why I'm here, because I genuinely enjoyed this. I don't think it deserved all the hate that it got. I love the arts. I want to support the arts. I love it when musical theater has its moment in the spotlight, kind of pun intended. And so that's why I'm making this video, because I was just so shocked with the backlash that this movie got. I wanted to come on here, share my opinion, not that it's the right opinion, because that's the thing about opinions. They're opinions, they're not facts. But I also just wanted to offer this general statement as food for thought for you, as a functioning person of the internet. If you don't like something, you can keep scrolling. You don't have to share your opinion on it, especially if it's negative. And there are ways to share criticisms of something constructively without forming these hate bandwagons. No one needs to see your negativity. And as I'm saying this out loud, I'm realizing that I did critique Madam Web on my Instagram story, but the questions I asked there were genuine questions of like, I do actually wonder how this movie got made. And two, I did give the preface of you're allowed to like whatever you like. So maybe that's safe. Or maybe I need to take my own advice. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you haven't seen the Mean Girls movie musical, I recommend it, honestly. It's an easy watch. Maybe just watch it on streaming if you don't want to pay to go see it in a theater, that's fine. I had a good time with it, and maybe you will too. Again, thank you so much for watching. As always, be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you all next time. Bye.